Hello everybody, we're just going to go through how to do the synthesis and decomposition reactions worksheet so you guys are prepared for your quiz today. So the first thing that we have to do with all of these is make sure that our equations are in fact balanced. So we are going to do that with a little bit of accounting. So what I'm going to do for this first one is count how many I have on each side. So on this side of my equation, I have 1 calcium, I have 1 carbon, and I have 3 oxygens. On the other side of my equation, I have 1 calcium, I have 1 carbon, and I have 3 oxygens. So my first equation is already balanced. I don't need to do anything. Over here, I have one thing that is breaking into 2 things. So that would in fact be a decomposition reaction. Okay. So for our next one, we have SO2 plus H2O equals H2SO3. So once again, I'm going to do my counting. On this side of my equation, I have 1 S, 3 oxygens, and 2 hydrogens. On this side of my equation, I have 2 hydrogens, 1 sulfur, and 3 oxygens. So that equation is already balanced. Because I have 2 things making one thing, that is going to be called synthesis. So that is our synthesis reaction. For our next one, I have 2 oxygens and 2 hydrogens on this side of my equation. On the other side, I have 2 hydrogens and 3 oxygens. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have an odd number over here, and I want to make it even because that's going to be the easiest way for me to do anything, is just to make it even. So in front of my oxygen, that's a 1, which is an odd number. I'm going to put a 2. So now I have 2 oxygens plus 2, so that's 4 oxygens on this side and 4 hydrogens. So over here, if I put a 2 in front, now I have 4 and 4. Over on the other side, I have one thing breaking down into 2 things, so that's decomposition. Okay. Down here, aluminum 2, aluminum 1. So I'm going to put a 2 in front. Here I have 3 oxygens, here I have 2. So I'm going to put a 2 here. Now I have 6, and I need to change this to a 4. So as you're going through, there might be some things that you have to change, and that's okay, not a problem. So here I have 2 things going to 1 thing, so that is combining, so that would be synthesis. For our next guy down here, I have 2 potassiums, 3 oxygens, and 1 carbon. The same on the other side, so that one's already balanced. And this would be a synthesis reaction because I have 2 things going to make one thing. And for my last guy on here, once again, I'm going to start with my thing that I have that's odd. So I have 3 and 2. So I'm going to put a 2 in front of that to make it even, and then balance my aluminums. This would be decomposition. Because I have one thing breaking down into 2 things. All right, so for the part 2 on the bottom, what we are going to do is you are going to write your own balanced chemical equation and then label the reaction as synthesis or decomposition. The elements H, O, N, Cl, Br, I, and F, so you guys have heard me in class say Hunkelbrief, that's what I mean, will always have a subscript of 2 when they are just elements. They can have other subscripts when they are part of a compound. all other. So now what I need to do in order to get everything balanced is use my periodic table. So my compound that I have is NaI. So that's going to be a ionic compound. Na is a charge of +1, and I is going to be a charge of -1. So they are already balanced. So what I need to do here is I have 2 iodines. So to balance it on that side, I put a 2 there and a 2 there. So that is going to be my balanced equation. I have 2 things making something else, so that is going to be synthesis.